Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to CCRL Pro Tier. It is round 2 tonight. They are taking on the 17 corner 6.12 kilometer circuit, and it has 2 DRS zones. I am the Johnny Damon tonight, and I am your commentator. We will jump into the results from last week at round 1 in Hungary. Very small grid, so we'll just kind of go over the points from last week. So at the top of the standings, we got Silos in first, Raptor KK second, Natural third, Peak Hour fourth, Osmanian Devil fifth, Komakopa in sixth, Dabunster 7 TMM in 8th, and 9th is GC Adventure. The rest of the grid does not have any points. We do have some new drivers on the grid tonight. That is going to be Modern Tie, James and Goose. Mr. Miller is back, and Magnum is also on the grid. We got a short qualifying 50% Grand Prix here for the Pro Tier. Currently just waiting on the first car to come out onto the circuit, and then we can get qualifying underway. We're at about 16 minutes and 40 seconds. Some people will be looking to do one run, some people will be looking to do 2 runs. It is just a matter of what they prefer. But in the meantime, we got a McLaren on the circuit that is going to be TMM Racing. So we do have new teams here. TMM Racing is teamed up with Raptor KK. So Raptor there in the other McLaren. Then we have a Haas here on the grid. Or is that the Haas? Yes, that is the Haas of Osmanian Devil. He is teamed up with LK there in the P1 position. So that should be a good team. As long as both of them can get themselves inside the top 10, they can have good points. LB the GOAT sitting here, your defending reigning champion of the Pro Tier in the Red Bull. And his teammate this season is going to be IRZ, who's also in a Red Bull. Right behind him out on circuit is going to be the Alpine Peak Hour. Peak Hour does not have a teammate on the grid tonight, so he'll be by himself. Komakopa out here in the Williams, no teammate on the grid for him tonight. Modern Tie is running side by side in the Mercedes with Natural. Natural is full time. Modern Tie is just coming into the Pro Tier. In the meantime, TMM Racing is making his way through turn 4. Now off the exit, gonna open up that DRS flap and head down Koval Lane into turn 5 of Caesar's Forum. He's going to make his way through the right-hander, back on the power, up through the gears, 27.7 through sector 1, as he's now carrying through the sphere here of turn 6 all the way to turn 9. Making his way down Sands Avenue into turn 12. Very tight left-hander here before the long DRS straight. He does have an Aston Martin in front of him, but he is heading down the Las Vegas Boulevard, 59.2 through 2 sectors down the Las Vegas Boulevard. Gonna get a tow from the Aston Martin in front of him, burning that overtake, opens up the DRS flap, heading down into the final few corners. Heavy on the brakes all the way into second gear. He goes a little deep, and unfortunately will invalidate on the exit there through turn 6, as he's now coming through the penultimate corner across the line with a 137. So that wouldn't have been necessarily a strong lap for him, but he jumped on board with the first car coming across the line. It looks like it's going to be Osmanian Devil setting provisional pole. LB the GOAT is going to come across with a 132.3 up to the top in the Red Bull. Your defending champion is already looking strong here in the first lap of qualifying. Next one across the line is going to be the Alpine of Peak Hour, on board with Natural, getting ready to start his first lap in qualifying. IRZ heading down the Harmon Avenue and past Top Golf on his right hand side across the start finish line up to the P4 position with a 133.9, so not able to get himself into the front row. Modern Ty, a new individual tonight, on provisional pole after his first lap in the Mercedes, looking pretty quick with a 132.176. So he's nearly a tenth and a half ahead of LB the GOAT in that P2 position. Looking on board here, James and Goose makes his way through, and that is a Haas that is unfortunately around. LK unfortunately went around off the exit of turn 5, and he is trying to get that car straightened back out here, and off he goes through the sphere, and no front wing on that car. Raptor KK here making his way through sector 1. Absolutely flying through sector 2, purple sector 2 with a 56.6. Heading through into the final quarters. Now in that DRS zone there, they did shorten the DRS zone here at Las Vegas. So instead, it's only from turn 13 down to turn 14, but he's going to make his way past Top Golf. Where did he put himself on the grid? Up to that P7 position, nearly 2/10 off of Silos, who's in P6. LK, he's got quite a bit of traffic behind him. Mr. Miller here making his way through the sphere. Has not put a lap down yet in qualifying. Down Sands Avenue in towards turn 12 we go. And it is a difficult corner. You kind of want to make sure your car is really straight here before you get on the brake. But it does kind of carry you to the right-hand side towards the wall. And then now heading towards the start-finish line we go. Or towards turn 14. Making our way towards the start-finish line is Mr. Miller. Gonna come across, and he's at a 133.3 on the second row, right next to Osmanian Devil. So nice lap for the Ferrari there. He is teamed up with the Boonster, so a new Ferrari duo here. Everybody else, it looks like Osmanian Devil in reverse off the exit of turn 16. Mr. Miller just completed a lap. Silos looks to be on a lap as he is making his way down the Las Vegas Boulevard. Opens up the DRS flap, burning the rest of that ERS, heading in to turn 13, 14, 14, 15, 16 here, off the exit of 16, down Harmon Avenue, towards Top Golf on the right-hand side. Gonna come across the start-finish line. Does he improve? Nearly a half a second improvement on the lap. Puts him in that P4 position here in qualifying. Mr. Miller not on a lap. Like me or not, he burned into turn 1 up into that P6 position. IRZ currently looks to be on a lap, burning all of that battery already, making his way into turn 12. Is he going to be improving off the exit of 12 down the Las Vegas Boulevard here? Heading across the split, or he did already make his way across the split, I think. Opens up the DRS flap, never mind, closes the battery, and off he goes. Natural here, making his way down into turn 14, off the exit of 16. No traffic in front of him, but run towards the start-finish line. Keeps it tucked to the inside, across the line. And he's up to the second row with a 132.9. So a great lap from Natural there in P3. The Boomster's yet to put down a lap as he's making his way through turn 5. Gets a heavy snap there off the exit of turn 5. Now making his way through the sphere as he's coming through turn 9 off the exit. Gonna keep it nice and close to that wall, burning the ERS. In towards turn 12 we go, on board with the Ferrari of the Boomster. He's heavy on the brakes all the way into third gear. Really nice drive through the corner. He did not have any improvement. He doesn't have a lap on the board down the Las Vegas Boulevard. He is getting a tow here from a McLaren in front of him. Who is this? That'll be the GOAT. 131.6 on the provisional pole. Nearly gets into the back of that McLaren. And that was Raptor giving a tow to the Ferrari all the way down the boulevard and up into the third row. The Ferrari of the Boomster goes. Now he's got the McLaren right behind him. He's going to stay to the outside. And Raptor goes through. Raptor now making his way down Koval Lane, heading towards turn 5. Got about 5 minutes and 30 seconds here in qualifying to go. Across the Sector 1 split. He is not improving, 63 thousandths of a second down on his time. Into the sphere we go. Got 80% battery here off the exit of turn 9. Gonna be burning it as he's making his way down Sands Avenue heading towards turn 12. Onto the brakes we go, down into third gear, off the exit, comes across the Sector 2 split, still not improving, 0.3 of a second off his time here, so he needs to find a lot of time off the exit of turn 16, heading towards the start-finish line. Does have that DRS flap wide open, my apologies, into turn 14 braking zone we go. And he gets loose and into the wall we go, unfortunately. And that's very unfortunate for Raptor. And now he is going to have to go in and get a new front wing, new tires, and try once again. Modern Ty currently out here on an outlap, looking to take pole on his debut. Copa not on a lap, but currently sitting in that second row. But he is inside of a Mercedes sandwich as Natural MP4 coming out of pit lane. Osmanian Devil on a lap here as he's making his way toward turn 5 down Koval Lane, all the way up to about 180 miles an hour into third gear. Off the exit we go. Now heading into the sphere. Through turn 7 and now 8, gonna keep it nice and tucked to the inside on the apex. Really nice drive through turn 9 down Sands Avenue. Is Osmanian Devil going to be able to find improvement here through sector 2 into turn 12? Heavy on the brakes all the way down into third gear. Off the exit. He's 34 thousandths of a second down on his time. He has yet to find enough on his lap. Opening up the DRS flap in about 20 meters. Got a wide open, down the Las Vegas Boulevard into turn 14. Braking at about 100 meters all the way into second gear off the exit of turn 16. Now making a run towards the final corner here as he's heading towards the start-finish line. And he's almost out of the ERS across the line. He doesn't improve. And he's going to stick inside that P6 position. Peak hour not on a lap, natural on an outlap. Is Modern Tie improving 67 thousandths of a second up through sector 2. Burning the ERS little by little. Opens the DRS flap. His teammate's going to stay to the inside as we're making our way into the final few corners. Off the exit of turn 16. A really nice drive through the penultimate corner for Modern Tie. Tucks it to the inside of turn 17. Across the line. Does not get an improvement in position. However, he does improve on his time. Natural here on a lap, I believe. Let's see. The booster's not on a lap. Yeah, Natural is on a lap, actually, as he's making his way down Colval Lane into turn 5. Let's see if he finds any improvement. 78 thousandths of a second down on his time. No improvement yet. Through the sphere we go. And now off the exit of turn 9. Is he going to get a nice drive down Sands Avenue in towards turn 12 to have a great exit for the long backstretch here at Las Vegas? Down into third gear. Off the exit, tucks it to the inside, and he's going to call it here. And that was Raptor, unfortunately, through turn 5, has wrecked out. Very unfortunate for Raptor. Osmanian Devil here, with 40 seconds left of qualifying, is just starting his final flying lap of the qualifying session. Modern Tie is really got to get going if he wants to try one more time here, as he's now getting ready to make his way off the exit of turn 16. Got the power down, up through the gears, 18 seconds to go, the line right in front. He's going to have one more shot here in qualifying. Gomacopa, quarter of a second up on his time. He is looking to improve up into that front row, possibly. Purple sector 2, as he's now making his way down the Las Vegas Boulevard. No improvement from LB the GOAT here in qualifying. He's sitting up top with a 131.6 for the pole position. Gomacopa making his way through the final corners. Now down Harmon Avenue, heading towards the start-finish line across turn 17. Now the line, a half a second improvement, and not enough for the front row, but enough for P3. Mr. Miller is not going to improve on his time. Modern Tie, unfortunately, in sector 2. He's not improving on his time. Is he going to get a tow here from the Red Bull? He's going to open up the DRS flap in about 100 meters. Got it wide open. He is getting a tow. Tucks down to the inside. Burns some battery through the inside. They're racing into the final corner. And this is going to affect one or the other. Not sure if Modern Tie is going to get any advantage here in qualifying. And he's going to jump to the inside. Is IRC going to improve? And he does not improve on his time, a half a second off. Mr. Miller is going to go into pit lane. So there you have it. Your grid is set. Mugnum and TMM unfortunately struggled here in qualifying, not getting the time down. James and Goose in that P13 position with a 134.9 for his debut. And then you got Modern Tie up on the front row, nearly a half a second behind. LB the GOAT. Your usual Red Bull Mercedes rivalry here up at the front. And then Williams of Comacopa in that P3 position. A new ride for him this season. Mr. Miller also in a new ride in that Ferrari. Actually, pretty much every driver on the grid is in a new ride. Alright, so there is no formation lap. It's going to be about 3 minutes here. And we got some rain in the weather. Wow, Las Vegas just got tricky. Oh boy, is this going to be a very interesting Grand Prix. Yeah, what is this? Alright, that's 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and the lights are out and off to the races we go, and it looks like we got the full wet tires on here to start in Las Vegas down into turn 1 side by side between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Mercedes gets a little loose getting back onto the power, trying to keep that car off the wall. As he does so off the exit of turn 4. Now we're going to make a run. We got a spin in the back here. Who's this going to be? Looks like TMM Racing. James and Goose slowly making his way up the grid, fighting alongside. And here comes, who was that? That was the Ferrari there of the Booster. Got into the back of somebody, missing his braking point. Right on board with Like Me or Not as we're making our way into the sphere. Got some side-by-side between the Red Bull and somebody, that's Tasmanian Devil, goes around in the sphere. Raptor and James and Goose, looks like Raptor struggling there off the edge of James and Goose. Gaining positions, Magnum up into the P12 position in the Aston Martin, trying to stay out of trouble. And here comes the McLaren looking to fight back down the inside as we're now making our way off the exit down the Las Vegas Boulevard heading towards turn 14. Mr. Miller taking on Comacopa. He is going to get around the outside of him up into that P3 position. And now the Frenchman Comacopa is looking to put the attack back on Mr. Miller here in the Ferrari, as they're making their way off the exit of turn 16 and towards turn 17. Natural here hanging on to P5 peak hour right behind him. IRZ putting the attack on Silos. Silos around the outside, and he is going to hang on and fight for that P7 position down into turn 1. And Silos here in the rain, he is known to have the pace. And they're side by side. James and Goose is going to get by. Silos is still going to fight with IRZ here off the exit of turn 4 as they're making their way down Koval Lane into turn 5 we go. And it looks like Silos up into that P7 position after starting low on the grid. Let's just jump through here. Silos up 3 positions already. IRZ also up 3 positions. Mr. Miller up 1. Top 2 haven't changed. LB to go has checked out to a 1.5 second gap out front. James and Goose up 4 positions here in the Kick Sauber as he's now making his way up to the back of IRZ. He's 8.5 tenths off the back of him. The Booster just worked his way by Like Me or Not. However, he's lost 2 positions since the start of the Grand Prix here as we are making our way down the Las Vegas Boulevard. IRZ look to break that toe really quickly, and now we had a move between Natural and Peak Hour here down in towards turn 14 we go. The Mercedes creeps up to the back of the Alpine. And off the exit, the Alpine's going to hang on, and the Mercedes follows behind, and he hangs on to it as well as we're making our way through turn 17, across the start-finish line to begin lap 3. No safety cars here. Oh, and the Mercedes gets into the back of Peak Hour. Not exactly sure what happened there. Peak Hour slowed up a lot going into turn 1, and not exactly sure what happened as Natural got right into the back of him, and now Natural has no front wing. He is going to have to box for a new wing. James and Goose looking to put the pressure. Magnum getting by his teammate, Like Me or Not. He's now going to put the pressure on the Ferrari in front. Tasmanian Devil is going to retire in pit lane, I believe. He is retired at, no, a virtual safety car. He has wrecked on the start-finish straight. And now that is not going to bring out a full safety car here but this is potentially going to allow some of these cars in the back of the grid here that may have wing damage. They've been awfully close all Grand Prix to get that new front wing put on. As we are making our way through the final corner, still under this virtual safety car, back up to the front in the Red Bull. You got LB to go out front with Modern Tie in the Mercedes in P2. Mr. Miller in third. Copa in fourth. Natural does dive into pit lane to change that front wing. Drive through. Oh boy, we got a bunch of penalties here. What are these penalties? Drive-through penalties from Mr. Miller, Modern Tie, and Copa. 3 cars all up in the top 5, all with a drive-through penalty under that virtual safety car. So they're all going to have to go through the pit lane here in the course of the next 3 laps to serve that penalty, or they are DSQ'd from the Grand Prix. In the meantime, IRZ is looking to put the attack on peak hour here as they're making their way through the sphere. And off the exit of turn 9 we go. And now we're going to carry all of our speed down Sands Avenue heading towards turn 12. The Red Bull carried way too much speed there through turn 11 as he made a little bit of contact with the wall. In the meantime, jump on board with the Sauber as he's right on the rear diffuser of the Red Bull, looking to go around the outside, but he is pretty low on battery, and the Red Bull's going to burn to defend him off, and there is nothing from the Ferrari behind. The 2 Aston Martins not doing anything there as we make our way through the final corners. We got, it looks like Copa's gonna stay out. Modern Tie and Mr. Miller both dived into pit lane to serve that drive-through penalty. Official Silos here, though, is in that P3 position, started in P10, up 7 spots since the start of the Grand Prix. Modern Tie has come out of pit lane. He is in P8. So came out in not a bad spot, but he is down in P8. James and Goose worked his way through the grid up into the top 5 now, as we got some side-by-side action right behind him. The Ferrari dropping positions. Modern Tide's going to make his way through as he's now looking to put the attack on the Red Bull in front of him here through Sector 2 and off the exit of turn 9 as they make their way through the sphere. Down Sands Avenue heading towards turn 12. Everybody on the full wet tires. Nobody on a set of intermediates yet, I think. I will check in just a moment. The Boonster makes a mistake through Sands Avenue and dropping down the grid. We do have this train right here, though. Gonna stay on board as Modern Tie in the Mercedes. IRZ looking to make a move on James and Goose down Las Vegas Boulevard. And it looks like IRZ is going to overtake into that P5 position. And he will be inside the top 5. LB to go with another fastest lap. Copa diving into pit lane. Silos now 10.4 seconds back from LB to go. And the question is, does he have the pace to catch him? And in the meantime, James and Goose are getting by, or defending off Modern Tie, and it looks like we have an incident and a safety car as we had some side-by-side action through turn 1 with Comacopa coming out of pit lane. They are requiring, like me or not, to go through. Now Comacopa and Mr. Miller swapping back, and we should be all organized. And I think that might be the booster. It looks like he has no front wing. And maybe TMM. The booster is going to retire from the Grand Prix. TMM is going to put on a new front wing and come out of pit lane. So, safety car here on lap 6. The question is, who will box? Who's going to stay out? Can the wet tires hold for the next 19 laps? If they do decide to pit, is the track dry enough for intermediate? But the rain is still coming down. Was anybody on intermediate tires there? No, everybody was on a full wet. So, this could be something here when we get back to green pit lane, and it looks like LB the GOAT is going to be the first one to dive in. He has a 12.5 second gap. Heavy on the brake before the line. We'll make our way through turn 1, now through turn 2 and 3, and it looks like LB the GOAT will come out. Silos is gonna stay out on his set of wet tires and not go into pit lane. It actually looks like everybody may have stayed out. Let's see here. Yeah, everybody stayed out here. LB the GOAT. Only one to jump into pit lane here. So he only has 2 sets of wet tires. So that is going to come into play. If there is another safety car with that second set of wet tires of LB the GOAT jumping onto him so early, is he gonna have to pit later on? He's actually on a set of intermediate. I did not realize that. So he is on a set of intermediate tires. So how much is that gonna affect him here in the Grand Prix? This is actually gonna get very interesting with LB the GOAT. Is he making the right call? Or is this going to be the wrong call here? This on lap 7 of 25. The rain has not lightened up at all since the start of the Grand Prix. And now it is, we got intermediate coming into play. LB the GOAT, is he going to pull off a strategy call that will be forever remembered here in Las Vegas? Remember what they always say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And LB the GOAT, the only one on the intermediate tires, is looking to make something that will stay in Vegas forever as a memory to him here on the intermediate tires on lap 7. Still under safety car, nobody has decided to box after the strategy call from LB the GOAT here onto the intermediate tires. We should be potentially going back to green here on this lap when we head back towards the start-finish line. We will find out at about right after turn 12 in sector 2. The Red Bull sitting in P2 on those intermediate tires. Everybody else on the full wet from the start of the Grand Prix here at the Las Vegas circuit, which if you look at the track, it looks like an upside down pig. So I was not a big fan of the circuit, but it has kind of grown on me a little bit since it has come out. Very tight street circuit, nice racing all around. In the meantime, we're making our way through turn 12, just waiting on TMM to catch up to the back of the grid here. And safety car should be giving us the message here soon that we will be going back to green and the safety car will be going in. Not exactly sure what's slowing up the grid here. Safety car is going to be in this lap. Silos will be backing up the grid through turn 14, 15, and 16. And then we will be getting back to green. Jump on board with Silos here, warming up those front tires as fast as you can. In second gear, getting ready to put the power down. Heading towards turn 17. And we are about to go back to green flag here at Las Vegas. And heading toward turn 1. And it looks like the Sauber is going to get off to a good start here. But LB the GOAT did not get caught out. As he's right behind him. Mr. Miller is going to make his way past. Like me or not, going to lose out on another position to the McLaren of Raptor. Now, Natural has a lot of work to do. He was running up inside the top 5. And then he got some front wing damage. Ty is looking around the outside of Magnum. Gonna tap a little bit, but it looks like Magnum in that Aston Martin is gonna hang on to that P6 position. We enter the sphere, and it looks like everybody is gonna be in a single file line. LB the GOAT hanging on the intermediate tires to the Sauber in front of him, as the Red Bull is not going to let go of Silos as they're making their way down Sands Avenue toward turn 12. And is the Red Bull going to get a much better run off the exit? It appears to be equal grip about on the exit. And now we're running down the Las Vegas Boulevard. Here comes the Red Bull of LB the GOAT around the outside. And through he goes on Silos of the Sauber. Behind him, we got no movement at the time being. Modern Ty is now going to try once again on Magnum in the Aston Martin. He is going to get through and up into that P6 position here as they make their way through turn 6. Modern Ty down the inside into P5 as the Sauber makes a mistake, and up inside the top 5 he goes as he's looking to run back through the grid with his P2 position, and like me or not, gonna challenge his teammate down the inside, and the Williams of Copa gets into the back of him. We're still side by side between the Aston Martins, and now coming through turn 3 and 4 down Colval Lane we go. The Aston Martins inside the top 10. Double points for both of them. Looking pretty solid day here at Las Vegas. Modern Ty inside the top 5, now looking to put the pressure on the Red Bull in front of him of IRZ as they enter the sphere. Silos losing pace to LB the GOAT. He appears to be the intermediate tires might be the call at this point in the Grand Prix. Modern Ty now looking to put the pressure on the Red Bull as they're making their way down Sands Avenue, heading towards turn 12. He gets sideways, drifting around some of these corners. Everybody looks like they're sideways drifting around some of these corners off the exit of turn 12 down Las Vegas Boulevard. And the Mercedes in that P5 position, looking to attack the Red Bull in front of him. No DRS here at Las Vegas as the rain is still coming down. And it looks like Modern Tie fakes the inside, goes to the outside and around the outside of the Red Bull inside the top 4 now, as he's looking to now put the pressure on Peak Hour in front of him. And the IRZ and James and Goose get loose off of turn 16. LB the GOAT with the fastest lap heading towards the start-finish line. IRZ and James and Goose battling side by side into turn 1 we go. IRZ around the outside, James and Goose through the inside, jump on board with Mr. Miller as he's watching these bulls. Heading through turn 4, IRZ gets a little loose on the inside. James and Goose is going to get loose on the outside, cuts back across the track. But everybody is now trying to find their space. Is the Red Bull going to peek down the inside? No, he's not. Going to fall right behind James and Goose into the wall. Comes back across the track. Mr. Miller's going to take advantage. IRZ bounces off the outside, inside wall there. Now the outside wall here heading into the sphere. Comacopa is now looking to catch up to Like Me or Not here in that P8 position. Modern Tie less than a half a second behind. Peak Hour into turn 12 we go. Looking down the Las Vegas Boulevard, gets right up to the rear diffuser. He's now going to put the pedal to the metal. He isn't going to be burning that ERS. He's still got about 50% battery here. As they're making their way down the Las Vegas Boulevard, he's going to go to the left-hand side of the Alpine in front of him. And he's going to work his way through. The Alpine's going to fight back hard on the outside into the braking zone of turn 14. Still side by side. And it looks like Peak Hour is going to defend off the Mercedes here down Harmon Avenue we go, heading towards the start-finish line. Another fast lap by LB the GOAT. And down the inside of turn 17, it looks like the Mercedes Modern Tie wants the inside of turn 1. And he is going to be looking to complete the move. Peak Hour looking for a switchback off the exit of turn 2. And now through 3 and 4, and it looks like the Alpine's going to get loose. Has no end plate on that Alpine either. Modern Tie is going to be able to defend him off. And he's up inside the top 3, looking for 0.8 seconds back of Silos in front. He does have pace as he works his way through the grid. Now is he going to have the pace to catch up? Almost halfway through the Grand Prix, and this has been a very interesting race here as we're making our way through turn 5 now into the Sphere. Comacopa down the inside of the Aston Martin, Like Me or Not, and he's going to work his way into P8 as they're making their way off the exit of turn 9 and heading down Sands Avenue towards turn 12. The Williams in that P8 position. Everybody flying through turns 11 into turn 12 we go. IRZ leading this midfield train here. Off the exit, heading down the Las Vegas Boulevard. LB the GOAT is checked out. Modern Tide gained 3/10 on the Sauber in front of him. Osmanian Devil has left the session. Comacopa looking to attack on James and Goose, watching from Like Me or Not, and it looks like Comacopa is going to get through. James and Goose is going to creep right back up to the back of that Williams. Comacopa into P7. A dry line's really starting to form. These wet tires are going to start getting slippery and hot. Do we have a bunch of drivers diving into pit lane? And yes, we do. And actually a lot of drivers into pit lane. Silos, Peak Hour, Modern Time, Mr. Bill, and nobody here with a penalty. Jumping into pit lane at Las Vegas so far, very clean by the whole grid. Comacopa sitting P2. LB the GOAT out here leading the Grand Prix. Silos comes out. I believe everybody is going to come out on a set of intermediate tires. The question is, did LB the GOAT come out too early here in the pit too early in the Red Bull? I believe it was about lap 7. He came into pit lane on the intermediate tires. And now it is lap 13, and everybody else has decided to jump into pit lane, put on a new set of tires. But LB the GOAT is still set in purple sector after purple sector. And IRZ the only one with a set of wet tires, fresh set of wet tires. TMM has not boxed yet. Up 10 positions for Magnum, up 7 for Silos, up 8 for TMM Racing Natural, down 7. He is going to be looking to work his way back through and hopefully find some way through the grid here to catch back up inside the top 5 where he was running previously. Got a car off the grid, or off the circuit. TMM Racing there, off through turn 12. Like me or not, looking to put the pressure on, or James and Goose looking to put the pressure on Like me or not here. TMM Racing under a lot of pressure from Natural and IRZ here down the Las Vegas Boulevard as they go side by side into the braking zone for turn 14. Natural is going to outbrake the McLaren, and the McLaren comes across, and no! Natural saves it off the exit of turn 15, and I'm not sure, did IRZ get wing damage? And yes, he did, and he goes into the outside wall. And these guys are flying around here at Las Vegas. Nobody is lifting a heartbeat on the pedal. Silos is catching up to Comacopa quickly. He's down to under 3 seconds now. Mr. Miller here. Is the question going to be, the rain going to start to come down too hard to where it's going to be full wet again? Like me or not, in, or is that James and Goose into the wall off the exit of, or off the apex of turn 5, I shall say. And he's going to go deep. He has no front wing on that Sauber. He is going to have to pit and unfortunately get a new front wing. Natural here putting the pressure on IRZ, looking around the outside of turn 11. Now the inside of 12. IRZ, and it looks like Natural is going to jump into that P9 position. The Mercedes now up one more spot, but the broken end plate off of that front wing of the Red Bull, is that going to help him with straight line speed? Here comes Raptor around the outside, and Raptor is going to overtake. Silos is overtaking Comacopa, has jumped into pit lane, and here comes Modern Tie with the fastest lap of a 142.4 as he's really working to catch up to the Sauber in question here. And is he going to be able to catch him off the exit of turn 4? He's 1.8 seconds back. And this is going to be a wonderful ending here, as LB to GOAT is going to have 10 more laps on those intermediates. Can he make them last, or is he going to have to pit? He's 25.7 seconds ahead. And the question is, Stilo's going to be able to close up to the back of him, but it looks like Modern Tie has a little bit more pace than that Sauber of Stilos in front. Magnum in that P4 position, sitting about 4 seconds back in the Aston Martin, just chilling right now. Mr. Miller also kind of chilling. Peak Hour behind him as well. Comacopa in P7. Like me or not, in 8th, working his way through the sphere. Natural in 9th. Off the exit of turn 9, he goes. Raptor right behind him. He's about 8/10 back. The closest battle on the circuit for the time being, as they're making their way down the Sand Avenue into the braking zone of turn 12. We're going to keep an eye on those intervals up top. 25.5 seconds to separate the two leaders. But there's about a 7 to 8 lap difference on the intermediate tires. And then you've got Modern Tie 1.3 seconds back, closing the gap to the Sauber in front. As we are currently watching Modern Tie with a new fastest lap of a 142.3. So the Mercedes is still not slowing down. Raptor here in the McLaren closes up to the back of Natural as they're coming off the exit of turn 15 down, I believe it's Herman Avenue. towards turn 17. Across the start-finish line we go. And we are beginning lap 16 here in Las Vegas. It's been a very interesting Grand Prix start to finish so far as we're making our way through turn 3. The Mercedes is hanging on. James and Goose with a penalty of a 3-second time penalty. That's the first time penalty I have seen, I believe. Not exactly sure what TMM's time penalty is, but Modern Tie 1.3 seconds back of Silos. Silos is not really closing much of the gap to LB Go. Probably about a tenth of a second lap difference here as we're working our way down the Las Vegas Boulevard. Not too sure if it's going to be much of a cliff in these intermediate tires. LB the GOAT sets a new fastest lap of a 142.065, burning that battery down the straight. Into turn 14 and 15 we go. Modern Tie's 1.3 seconds back. Still not able to close that gap very much more. 1.6 now. Raptor still 0.8 of a second off the back of the Mercedes in front of him of the natural. Teammates up in that P3 position, so a double point day for the Mercedes team. I believe the Aston Martin team in P4 and P8 as well. So some good points for some teams here to start or for race round 2 of the season in Pro Tier. Beginning lap 17, the closest battle on the circuit is going to be between the McLaren and the Mercedes. And it looks like me or not, has made a mistake, spun around here through turn 1 and 2. That is going to allow IRZ to get through. So fortunately now it appears we got 2 Red Bulls and 2 Mercedes inside the top 10. Raptor still trying to chase down Natural here. Not much of a difference as they're making their way through the sphere. No DRS to help out in the rain, so unfortunately these guys are going to have to rely on their exit speed and top speed down the straight to maybe make an overtake in ERS. Modern Tie has now gone from 1.3 seconds down to 2.5, so I'm not sure if Silos has really picked up the pace or if Modern Tie has made a few mistakes. See if he's missing any of that front wing, and it appears he's missing an M plate, so that could be a potential reason. Silos down to a 141.3 fastest lap here, so we got some fastest laps coming across. He has both of his M plates. Yeah, Modern Tie's missing that left side M plate. Magnum had both of his. 5.1 seconds back off of the Mercedes in front of him. Mr. Miller 3.5 seconds back in the Ferrari, as now he's making his way down Koval Lane toward turn 5. Komakopa 10 seconds back, finding a lot of time on the Alpine in front of him. He half a second off the exit of turn 4. 7/10 of a second since I jumped on board with him. Into turn 5 we go, off the exit, 9.2, 9.1. Nearly a full second gain between about 6 corners. Purple sector 1 here. It looks like he could be going for a fast lap as he's working his way through the tricky sphere section off the exit of turn 9. Modern Tie looks like he's about to put the pedal back down, working his way down the Las Vegas Boulevard, seeing if he can find some pace on Silos here. He's under 2 seconds once again heading into turn 14. Now I wonder if that is because the Sauber decided to turn off the ERS management to regenerate. But here comes Modern Tie now down Harmon Avenue. He's about 1.5 seconds back to Silos, who's 25.2 seconds. Lost a lot of time too. LB the GOAT in front. Got about 7 laps to go here in Las Vegas. LB the Goat had not really given him much TV time, but if he didn't check out from the grid this far, we would have a lot of TV time. Raptor here making his way by the Natural. Natural's gonna dive into pit lane. Not too happy with his car getting off of those intermediate tires. Looked like Silos might have made a mistake into the sphere, and yes he did. Modern Tires he's now 1 second back off the exit of turn 9. And now it looks like Silos going to be under pressure for that P2 position here on the podium. As the Mercedes on its debut, he qualified P2 on the front row. And now he's looking to finish in P2, but he does have a challenge on his hands with the Sauber. The Sauber last season finished in second place in the points, put up a fight for the championship. It did not come down to the last race of the season. It came, however, Sauber is somebody to pay attention to. Consistency is key when it comes to a championship, and Silos definitely has that consistency. Modern Tide putting that pressure on Silos though. The rain has really lightened up, but not enough for dry tires. As we head down Koval Lane. In towards turn 5 we go. Through the sphere. Off the exit of turn 9. The Mercedes less than a second behind. He's now lost a lot of speed off the exit of turn 9, heading towards turn 12. Off the exit we go down the Las Vegas Boulevard, and it appears that it stopped raining here with about 6 laps to go. The track is all dried up. Is it time to start pitting? And here comes LB the Goat, the first one into pit lane. And now DRS is going to be activated soon. And this is going to make things very interesting. And the Modern Tide pulls right up to the back of Silos here. We're now on a dry circuit. And here goes the Mercedes jumping into pit lane. Silos is going to stay out for another lap. How costly could this be here to the Sauber? And he's looking to try and close up. Modern Tide, no penalty there, entering pit lane. Oh boy, Mugnum's going to stay out too for another 4 laps. DRS is enabled. This is going to be extremely key. And what is Ty going to come out on a set of soft tires? Where is he going to come out in that P6 position? Keeps it off the outside wall within the white line and pedal to the middle. Modern Ty's got a lot of work to do if he wants to catch up to Silos. Silos, though, he is 6.2 seconds off of LB to go. LB to go, I'm assuming, on a set of red wall tires, and yes, he is, as Silos stays on those intermediate off the exit of turn 9. Modern Tide's got to work quickly. Natural with the fastest lap in P8 on a set of soft 10-second penalty. That's the first penalty we have seen for speeding into pit lane. RZ, unfortunately, has gotten a speeding penalty into pit lane, so that will be 10 seconds on his name. And it appears somebody had a spin, maybe, or might have been Mr. Miller with a spin that allowed Modern Tide to just kind of sneak right through. And now Modern Tide is about to put the pressure on, heading after Mr. Miller here, who's 7.4 seconds back now. So let's see if he can close this gap quickly with about 4 laps to go. Silos here is staying out on the intermediates. Magnum also stays out as well. Milla is going to dive in. That is going to allow Modern Tide to overtake him down the start-finish straight and into turn one. So now he's up to that P4 position. Where is Milla going to come out? Because Peak Hour is also in the pit lane. Is Comacopa going to be able to overtake Milla? No, he's not going to be. But is he going to be able to overtake Peak Hour here as he comes across the start-finish line? Comacopa into that P6 position. Yes, the undercut worked perfectly for Comacopa. Now the question is, Peak Hour with the extra lap of fresher soft tires, is that going to be enough to catch back up and overtake? Natural 139.8 fastest lap here at Las Vegas. Track is not dried and rubbered in, so we're not seeing low 130s yet. But I'm assuming it's going to be coming quickly as Modern Tide is making his way through Sector 2 off the exit of Turn 12. Going to put the pedal to the metal across the Sector 2 split. And nobody in DRS range of each other up front. LB the GOAT pulled out to 10 seconds once again over Silos. And he's now with a new fastest lap of a 37.3, beginning lap 23 here. We got about 4 laps to go. Modern Tide is 8.4, now 8 seconds off the back of Magnum. He's got to gain nearly 2.5, 3 seconds. Magnum's gonna go into pit lane. He's risking a podium position to stay off, get off the intermediate tires. And now Ty, on his debut, is gonna end up on the podium for a great debut here in the Pro Tier. And Peak Hour 1.5 seconds off the back of Comacopa. He's not finding any pace for the time being. We will follow along with that battle. Mr. Milla Magnum comes out in front of Mr. Milla. So the question is, Magnum's cold tires, is Milla going to be able to close up to the back of him here? As he has a warmed up soft tires 1 second back now. He was about 1.6. Does he get the exit off of turn 9? No, he's 1.1. He's not within DRS. But with the DRS range or DRS zone moved, it does allow him to close up to the back of him off the exit of turn 12. He's 1 second. Is he going to get that detection of a second here? No, he is not. This is Magnum. He is going to get those soft tires warmed up. And it looks like he's going to be able to potentially defend off the Ferrari chasing behind him for that P4 position. But here comes Milla, though. He closed right up to the back of him here going into turn 14. Modern Tide with a new fastest lap of a 137 flat. So he's going to get an extra point here. He's now looking about 10.7 to start the penultimate lap. And Mr. Milla 136.8 with a new fastest lap. And he's looking to put the pressure on Magnum here. Magnum now has warm soft, so he has the opportunity to go for a fast lap. Mr. Milla unfortunately did not get DRS there to get the rear flap to open up and top speed down Koval Lane, but he does close right back up to the back of the Aston Martin in front of him as they're making their way through into the sphere. Closest fight on the grid is for the P5 position. Silo stayed out on a set of intermediate tires, allowing him for a podium position here up in second. On the penultimate lap, he just needs to keep that car under control for the next lap and quarter at about this time. 14 seconds off the back of the leader. Modern Tide gained about 2 seconds that lap, but he's not going to be able to gain enough time to catch up to Silos here within the final lap to challenge for that P2 position. Magnum 1.5 seconds ahead of Mr. Miller here as we make our way through the penultimate corner down the start finish straight. Modern tie with a new fastest lap of a 36.4. So he is really putting the pedal down, 6.6, 6.5. And he is trying to see if he can catch Silos, or at least put some sort of scare in case Silos makes a mistake. Put himself in position. Copa with a 136.4. Just barely getting that fastest lap over Modern Tie by, I think, 0.02 of a second. Mr. Miller all over the rear diffuser of the Aston Martin of Magnum as we're now making our way through Westchester Drive into the Sphere. And we're going to come off the exit of turn 9. No movement here from Mr. Miller. Modern Tie, though, closed up that gap for 4 seconds. Really pushing on the final lap. Gained nearly 4 seconds on Silos there. And LB the GOAT heading through turn 17 here at Las Vegas. And he's going to take the victory and sets the fastest lap on the final lap with a 134.6. And Silos across the line, actually off the exit of turn 16. Now going to make a run towards the start-finish line we go. And he's going to come across and finish in P2 on a set of intermediate tires. Modern Tie on a debut with a podium finish. Magnum gonna defend off Mr. Miller here on the final lap. And he's going to take P4 on his debut. Mr. Miller in 5th. Copa is going to come to the line in 6th place. Is he going to get a fastest lap here as well? As he comes across the line, no. Peak Hour to the line in 7th place. Natural in 8th as he's making his way off of turn 15 down Herman Avenue towards the start-finish line. And is he going to take that P8 position? Yes, he does. Raptor right behind him in P9. Like me or not, gonna follow behind in the Aston Martin for the final point paying position. And he comes home in 10th place. IRZ missing half a front wing with James and Goose right behind him. Both riding on penalties as they come to the start-finish line. And it looks like IRZ doesn't serve a 10-second. James and Goose overtakes LK, also overtakes as well. And there you have it. There's LB the GOAT on the top step of the podium. Silos and Modern Tie all right there alongside him. In regards to the results for the final time, LB the GOAT takes the victory. Silos in 2nd, Modern Tie in 3rd, Magnum 4th, 5th, Mr. Miller 6th, Copa. Peak Hour 7th, Natural 8th, Raptor 9th, Like Me or Not 10th, James and Goose 11th, LK 12th, IRZ 13th, TMM 14th, Daboonster 15th, 16th, Oddmanian Devil. In the meantime, that was a fantastic race at Las Vegas. Tune in, I'd probably say Thursday or Friday on MMR Hotspot on YouTube for the Elite Tier upload, as they will have a sprint weekend at the wonderful Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And then next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on CCRL TV, I will be commentary for the Pro Tier once again round 3 sprint weekend at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. In the meantime, it's been a pleasure. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will see you next Monday night in Coda. Have a great night.